We had one, we fired them, they really weren't suitable, they were not cut out for this life. We just on Friday morning got a gym. We've taken payroll away from my accountants because they pissed me off. Their payroll team was actually really good. The rest of them just picked and I'm not using them. Hopefully then being referred within their network nationwide, maybe even globally. Hey, Marbella, see you soon. Just a reminder, people, I am hosting my first ever in-person mastermind. So it's gonna be 10 people maximum with 5 people for a little VIP, little dins afterwards. And we're gonna be x-raying your business. We are going to be going through every single element of scaling, growing, acquiring businesses, whether it's through M&A, whether it's organic. We're going to be looking at marketing, branding. We're going to look at your ambitions, your mindset, what you've done, what you haven't done, your KPIs, your structure, how to take yourself out of the business and not be an employee, but be an employer. We're going to be looking at your financials. We're going to be going through P&Ls. I'm going to show you how I do my financials, what's important, what isn't as important. Guess what? Everything's important. But we are going to answer every single question and go through every single thing I can't necessarily talk about publicly. So, in-person mastermind. Click on my Instagram tag, send me a DM, mastermind, do it. Let's have a conversation, let's understand where you're at, and let's talk about my in-person mastermind. So people, on today's episode of Cleaning Chronicles, we're talking about, what are we talking about? Well, I've just had my sales manager visit a very large group of car showrooms. Car manufacturer, actually, quite new on the scene, really interesting. The vehicles are really interesting, actually. Not for me, but super interesting, and I think they're growing rapidly, and I think they will definitely do well in the UK with their vehicles. And so we just visited today for a quote that is looking like another sort of 1,000 a month at the moment. I think it will go up to 1,500, but as they get busier and they're fully launched. It also includes window cleaning, so we'll get our partners involved locally to do that. And there's also the element of consumables, which is kind of small little bits from it, but there is the added benefit of one, having their name on our roster of clients that we clean for, 2, hopefully then being referred within their network nationwide, maybe even globally. Hey, Marbella, see you soon. I left her in Marbella. I don't know why Marbella, because I haven't been there since it's all, the Dubai of Spain. Anyways, that was just sent off to me today, so I just need to review what my sales guy has said, go back with the setup fees, costs, things like that, and see if it's, see if that price is right. It is fairly easy once you're experienced to quote off images and kind of a report from your sales team. However, I will say understanding the current state of it is quite difficult from pictures and from a distance. It really does help to have someone who understands it, or I would send my ops manager with the sales guy sometimes to quote these things, because he is more on the cleaning side and then the sales guy is more on the sales side. So a really good opportunity. We couldn't get hold of the guy for a while. My sales guy just walked in, boom, did it there and then, and we're going to submit the quote probably tomorrow now. That's one of, I suppose, the new potential additions. We just on Friday morning got a gym. It's our first gym? Yeah, it's our first gym. We've quoted on a massive sporting facility before for a football club, which had a gym in. But this is our first ever gym that we quoted for. Nothing necessarily different, apart from some of because we're not cleaning the equipment, a little bit different here. I think what we're gonna do though is, as well as just the normal cleans, on the deep clean especially, we're gonna have more of a bactericidal, antiviral, kind of a more medical based cleaner for certain parts of the facility. I just think it makes sense. Keeps people healthier, less chance of getting ill. We'll show the client that we're taking this seriously. It is a small gym with small facilities, so we're not going to go through loads of it. What we would recommend for a bigger facility to the client is a sort of weekly or monthly deep clean where we use potentially even misters. Depends how crazy we want to go, and also how high end they are. Certain gyms like, I don't know, David Lloyd, although David Lloyd is so overpriced, and the ones I've seen are just shit and falling apart. Heston, I'm talking about you. So if you know. So it doesn't need that much of it. So there isn't too much different. It's also kind of a private gym in a sense. They run classes and PT, so it's not going to have that level of use. In fact, the usage should be it should be known already because of the data on the system, which actually can help you, do dynamic pricing or dynamic scheduling. Not always ideal, especially on a smaller client, but for bigger ones that can be quite useful. So that added another £1,000 a month, I think. So every month at the moment, I'd say we're adding at least £1,000 a month right now from one salesperson. I would say we're probably adding up to 2,000, 3,000 on a good month. If we had more of him, potentially we'd do more, and that kind of has got me thinking that, do I want now to hire someone else? I think I might actually put another job ad out and see, even if the person we hire is not as face-to-face as him, but is more of a cold call smaller, but can generate him leads, like just a lead generator, there's potentially something there. We had one, we fired them, they really weren't suitable, they were not cut out for this life. That's fine, it was a pretty straightforward job, I thought. But anyways, not everyone is suitable, and that is what it is. Like that's the economy, that's how it works. So yeah, we are growing as expected, and we're still at $1 million turnover, and we should finish the year like solidly into $1 million. Because sometimes it varies every month. So like this month, I think, are we going to invoice 82.333? Maybe not, but we're there monthly at that number over a couple of months, if that makes sense, as an average. But we've invoiced that already for 3 months. But because we can caravans, sometimes it goes up by a couple of grand, sometimes it goes down by a couple of grand. One site had to close their site, and you know, that was that, and had to bear redundancy, which is quite unfortunate. So yeah, happens. And then we've taken payroll away from my accountants because they pissed me off. Their payroll team was actually really good, but the rest of them just I'm not using them. And bought it in-house using a bit of software called BrightPay, which is really good. Unfortunately, it doesn't link with our clocking software, but anyways. First month we changed, it didn't, long story short, everyone had a wrong tax code, so no one paid tax, except fucking me. And yeah, they were all explained, and it's a process, but it's one of those things which it can be quite annoying, because they'll be like, oh, well, I've got 50 quid extra that month, and this month I'm not. It's like, well, yeah, but that's like, it all works out even. Not everyone plans over multiple months or years. They just plan day to day, month, week to week, which is totally fine. And so that really annoyed me, because I wanted to make sure they got the right pay. Even if they got more that month, they're gonna get less this month. And so I think, yeah, it's just important to respect that everyone manages their money differently. And yeah, we didn't realize that was gonna happen until we ran it. So yeah, lesson learned. But you know, these things happen, and you know, are we saving money by going in-house? We're probably saving £100 a month on direct costs. So we're not paying the accountants anymore. Paying 50 quid, I think, maybe on software. And then, you know, my ops manager was doing payroll anyway and just sending it to them. And so it was kind of like, actually, there's too many steps. This is silly. So the labor cost is kind of all in. So we do save, but it's also just to have the control and the speed to adjusting. Because every month there's always issues on payroll. Oh, my clocking software didn't work. Oops, holiday. There's just always something, honestly. Like, and I appreciate, we can say, when you run a business with operations and strategy, you don't miss anything. Fuck off. Yeah, you do. And that's fine to staff understand it, because we always say, look, please read it. We're not going to pay you for a day or so when you get this payroll, the pay slip. Come back to us if we've missed something. Like, no issue at all with you doing that. Like, you know, please do. And they do, you know, when it comes to money, anybody got no issues with talking about money. You know what I mean? So that has been a bit irritating, and I'm hoping that, you know, for the next payroll, which is in 2 or 3 weeks, we get sorted. We've had some issues with pay. Most clients actually have been paying on time actually so far. We've had one of our largest clients had some issues with, it was something so simple, it was the date on the invoice, which now we've changed, or we're going to change, will mean we get paid on time, because it kept being delayed. And that was like, the last invoice was 37 grand for a month. So, you know, and yeah, big on my mentees, quoting on like a 20 grand a month contract right now. And he's only been in the business for 3 months. So yeah, you got a good mentor like me. And so it just shows you there is money everywhere. And so another thing, and you know what, I think this is the core of our business, and what makes our business run so well, but also can make it fail, is cleaning quality. How often are we doing audits? What results are coming back? How are cleaners responding to these? Are these being fixed? Because we have over, actually, I don't know how many sites. I've got like 150 lines on my monthly, you know, invoicing schedule thing, but we've got, I don't know, 80 clients plus, or 80 sites plus. And so maintaining quality at all of them comes with a cost. And we're turning over £1 million quid with 2 management staff, me and ops manager. So, you know, revenue per employee is pretty nice. He does most of the site visits. I jump in and do certain ones, certain sizes, certain locations, you know, because that's 6.2 litre, that 3 litre turbo, he drinks petrol, baby. No hybrids here. If you're not on the AMG. So, you know, we have to keep doing those. However, you know, a monthly audit doesn't always show you what's happening on site. However, no way in hell could we afford, when what clients want to pay, a weekly audit or bi-weekly. There are some where we can, and we can quote that in, but when they see the cost, they don't really want it. They're just going to expect it, you know, for the monthly. However, this is where hiring slowly, firing fast comes into it. And on my mastermind day, we are going to be talking about hiring, because Lord, I've done thousands of interviews actually at this stage. I've seen thousands of CVs across multiple sectors across the last 9 years since I've been recruiting. So I'm pretty fucking good at it, like I'll be real with you. And I have a pretty good structure and operation and process to get good people in. Does that mean we get dickheads? Yep. Does that mean that people get fired in their second day? Yep. Right? You can never get it perfect, but we're pretty flipping good at getting people and keeping people. I'd say generally we're pretty good. Most of the time people have left because we've got rid of them. And when people have left us, like one auntie was like, yeah, my dog's dying, so I want to spend time with him. You know what, Babs? Fair enough, mush, you fucking do that, like, whatever accent that was, you know, or, you know, it's very rare that someone says, I'm not happy here, you're not paying me enough, I'm off, you know, for example. And they'll tell you, cleaning operatives will tell you, man, there's no holding back here. Trust me, if someone's going to be a Karen, they're going to be a Karen though. So the cleaning quality is like, you know, my biggest sort of thing that I have to look after. And in your business, what are you doing to ensure that your service, your product, whatever it is of the highest quality? You're a property developer. Okay, are you using long-lasting, high-quality paints, finishes? You know, are you a high-end developer? Well, is everything grey and your kitchen's got a shitty laminate worktop and you've put a joint right in the middle of it? Like so many developers do. Fucking disgusting. Are you using the same shitty taps in your bathroom and the same tiles in all 4 bathrooms? But if you're doing a £2 million mansion, you're using the same shitty shiny tiles from Uncle Murad in Hayes bloody industrial estate. So, you know, like, is your product, is your course, your e-learning, your event, your book, your soap, your car, is it delivering the quality that equals the price, i.e. does it have value? That's the most important thing. And I'm very upfront with clients. Today a client said, look, we've noticed these issues. And I said, you know what, we actually noticed exact same issues on our recent audit, but we need more time on site. We've logged this for months, we've looked at this for months, like what can we do about this? If we can't get more time on site, cool, we'll have to rework the schedule and avoid certain areas on certain days. And that's fine. If you want to be budget conscious, that's fine. We have to do what we have to do. And this is where monitoring cleaners' time on site comes into it. Like, David, what are you doing? You spent 4 hours there, it's a 2-hour job. I'm not paying you for more than 2. If you can't do it in that time, you have to report that to me every single day. So I can go to the client and fight for us to win more hours, right? Or to sort it out, to lower the expectation. Not everyone has high expectations. We can deliver what you want, you know, what you're paying for, you know, and I've had some sites that have just been underquoted, you know, by the previous business owner or whatever. And I'm honest about that. I'll say, listen, I've noticed this guy, he ain't here anymore. I'm chucking him under the bus. I mean, it's true. It was underquoted. So like, we need to up it, or we need to do something about it to deliver the standard that you want. And chemicals, you know, when I get orders for chemicals, I'm always asking, are you diluting it to the pack instructions? When we do audits, I'm looking, is it dilute? Does it smell right? Does it look right? Is it? Because we have chemicals that should last months. And yet sometimes I get orders every month and I'm like, okay, so does that mean that site usage is higher? Does that mean that we've factored in too low when we've done our budgeting, and actually on all quotes moving forward, we need to go in higher? You know, like what do we need to do? But it's just a question you should all think about and take from this podcast. If all you take from this podcast is, if I'm a deal sourcer, and you won't because you're all shit, joking, love you. I don't. What can we do to make our service, our product, our customer experience, our customer journey, what can we do to make that better? That's something I want you to think about. What are the points where your customers are getting irritated? What are the points where you could let them down? Where are the failure points? I know for me, okay, chemicals don't arrive on time. How are we fixing that? Cleaner has to run to shops and get something, download the cost sheet, make sure it's there. Cool. But if chemicals don't arrive, if you know, toilet paper doesn't arrive, there's a downstream effect of that. And there's like multiple effects. How do we stop that? If a cleaner doesn't turn up, what do we do about that? How do we stop that? How do we fix that? You know, okay, on Thursday, we need someone to, I'm always thinking like risk mitigation. Like, how can we ensure that the customer's experience is good? Even if we fuck up, I want their experience to be the best. So people, for details of my mastermind, please send me a message, mastermind. And if you have any questions, I'll just send you the link. You can read about it. No obligation, no pressure. I'm not going to message you in 6 months and be like, you little bitch, you said you were going to do this, but you didn't do it. I mean, I will if you come and, you know, some people message me 2 years later, like, oh, bro, I think you're doing an event now. Or should I come along, bro? Oh, yeah. Oh, is it £10 to attend? Oh, I can't do that, cause So, yeah, if you like that, I will send for you. But that's cool. See you soon, people.